You guys missed me, didn't you? That's why there's so many.
Coach got back at it today. How'd practice go?
It went good. Seems like a long time already since we played, but it was good to be back with our guys.
Anything kind of stand out today as far as the morale goes and the spirit?
Yeah, they're anxious to play already, and that's a good sign. So it wasn't hard to get them going. They were anxious to practice, anxious to get back to work, and I think anxious to really finish strong.
Well, everybody expects you guys are going to win the next 3 games. How do you set the right balance between confidence but not having a letdown?
Oh, we have a lot to improve as a football program and as a team, and so our focus again is just on how much better we can get. Haven't looked ahead much, so had a full day on Idaho today, and then we'll worry about our next opponent after that. But man, we have a lot to improve on, so that's really where my focus has been with our team.
Can you imagine being a head coach at 33 years old, like guess over Idaho, in an interim position?
No, I'm not sure how old I was, but 33 seems really young. But it's a good way to learn and a great responsibility and a neat opportunity. So, and I hope he enjoys it if he can.
Coach, what's your take on the Idaho Vandals? What do you see from them? Talk about some matchups.
Idaho is a team that has struggled with consistency on both offense and defense, and in stretches they show capability, and then they've had issues turning over the football and just maintaining a high level of execution from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. And I think that's been their biggest challenge.
Is Braden Hansen close to getting back, and will he be back this week?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Braden Hansen coming back?
I don't know yet, Jay. Hopefully, but probably too early to say for sure.
You guys made a statement on defense previous game, Georgia Tech, about the strides that unit has made after the Notre Dame game. What you can do the rest of the way.
You know, I thought they played really hard in Notre Dame. There was 1 or 2 plays they didn't make, but 17 points is still a reasonable amount to have a great chance to win the game. Georgia Tech, was one of the best defensive performances versus the option that I've ever seen or been part of, and so I was really proud of them. But it's a fun group to be with every week. They just it matters a lot to them, and they work really hard, and I've been lucky to coach them so far this year.
Does Jamal Williams have the looks of a lead back to you moving forward? I'm talking next season and beyond. The kind of guy that could be Curtis Brown or Harvey Young in terms of a marquee back for your main back?
I would say from the early signs, yeah. I mean, he's still really young. He's 17 years old, and a lot of work to still do, but the way he runs the football, the confidence he runs it with, the physical nature he runs it with is really a nice start for a true freshman. So I would say at this point, yeah.
Coach, could you just talk about the recruiting you guys were able to do with the bye week?
Yeah, we're in really good shape recruiting. Still a few pieces to finish up with the offensive line issues that we've had, but our finding pool has been really good, and we've made a lot of progress. And I'm really comfortable with where we sit right now. Still a few pieces have to land or come in, but it was a really productive week.
Are all your assistants out of state?
No, some were out of state, and some were in. We were running short on evaluation, so we have to pick and choose really carefully now.
Sounds like Bronson Kafusi would like to play some basketball after football season's over. Any early thoughts on that?
Not any early thoughts. Really hard to be good at just one sport, let alone 2. And so I would say that just as a blanket statement. Very few guys are capable of playing 2. So really premature to even consider it or talk about it. Maybe after the bowl game we can consider that.
In what areas can your defense improve?
I'm sorry?
What areas can the defense improve after playing so well against?
They've been really consistent all year long. I guess I would go to really the only team that had success against them was Oregon State, and that would be max protection and really good receivers running through our zones. And so that's, if there's been anything, and really the only thing that's worked so far, that would probably be it. But I think we've addressed that since then. That game seems like a long time ago, but I guess that if I had to give you something, that'd be it.
The offense has made some strides the last few games. Can you talk about what led to that? What you're seeing from the offense?
I think just more balance and consistency. And being able to run the football and throw it with fewer turnovers is really helpful. And I think that's really the core of what's happening is balance and consistency with fewer turnovers.
Coach, how was the bye week in terms of your players' health?
You know, we focused hard on it, and so from what I saw today, they look fresh and ready to practice. I can't say there was just a slew of players coming back in, but it's the ones we have look a little bit fresher and again more healthy.
Anything special you're looking forward to or planning for your seniors on Saturday night?
A little bit different format. Normally I'm able to be with them after the game, and with an 8-something start, I mean that's going to be really late, so what we'll do is we'll honor them more pre-game, and then what I normally do after the game, we'll do it in our banquet this year, just because of how late the start is.
Can you talk briefly about who the NFL guys like of this year's team for next year in the NFL?
You know, a little bit premature, but they like quite a few players, so I think I'd like to hold off on that maybe till bowl week preparation, something like that, rather than have them be distracted at this point. We still have a lot of work to do.
Some of your defensive players have talked about wanting to get to #1 in total defense. Is that a realistic goal in your eyes?
I think anything's realistic for them. They're proven to be capable in about every category. If you look statistically, I don't spend a ton of time on that, but I think they have really high goals and expectations, and I wouldn't put anything by them right now.
Talk about the maturation of Kyle Van Noy off the field and on the field.
From last week, or like when he first got here? it's
both.
Don't write that. It's just it's a remarkable thing, and he's absolutely honest and trustworthy, and he makes mistakes like the rest of us, but who he's become is something to be proud of. I have been lucky to work with him.
He came back from the injury off season. Was there any concern that he wouldn't come back from that, and what has he shown that he didn't show last year?
Kyle's one of the toughest players that I've ever coached. I mean, he plays with things that, number one, that injury happened in the TCU game. He didn't tell anybody, not the trainers or me. And then comes in after the season and said, I think my shoulder's hurt. And yeah, it was a torn labrum in TCU. And so if you don't ask him, he's not going to tell you. He loves to play, and he's not going to come out of the game, no matter how hurt he is. So he's really tough.